Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Vine. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Bristowe. Sydney got to sit in on the podcast today.
Yes.
And we got to meet Drew Afualo, who, she walked in here and meant business. I was like, she feels like a strong...
she meant business, but also was, really fun. And
Yeah. I didn't realize she was such a comedian as well. She was so funny. She's a renowned content creator, women's rights advocate. Yep. She is a podcast host and author. She's known for her viral roasts of misogynist men online, which I love. She uses her humor to challenge the patriarchy, which is chef's kiss, and she's got a new book coming out called Loud, Accept Nothing Less Than the Life You Deserve. She's also about to go on a comedy tour.
I wish I could go.
Yeah, I know. I wish you could too. I feel like she was a very fascinating guest, and she has a lot of really important things to say.
100%.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And you're born and raised in Southern California.
Yes.
And where do you live now?
I live in LA.
Amazing. Do you love it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
That was convincing.
Yeah. That's all right. It's LA.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it. I love coming to visit and I love coming to do podcasts here. I just don't know if I could live here, one, because I'm cheap.
I feel that.
I'm like, I live in Nashville, and so
okay.
I feel like it's a lot more affordable.
Better fit for you.
Better fit for me.
Vibe.
I'm more of a country gal anyways.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, does it?
Is that where you're from?
No.
Where are you from?
Canadian.
Are you really? So is my agent Alex.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so this is my 16-year-old niece. I always have to point out
Hello.
your age. I don't know why. This is, we both grew up in Leduc, Alberta, just outside of Edmonton in Canada. Where are you from?
Yes.
Vancouver. Oh, I lived there for 11 years. Yes.
Look at
I worked
y'all.
at the Cactus Club, Earl's. Oh. So
Every time
good.
I meet a Canadian, I'm like, my agent's Canadian.
Yeah.
So constantly. Every time.
And everyone from the States thinks, oh, Vancouver or Toronto? I'm like, there's other places.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always like, ask her. She knows.
That's amazing. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you, and I want to know if you can share with us and the listeners how you got started in content creation and what inspired you to begin roasting misogynists online.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I got started because I got fired from my job, and then COVID hit 2 weeks after I got fired.
Oh my
and so
gosh.
Everyone's at home and everyone was on TikTok, and I'm 28. I'm going to be 29. So at the time, I was like a million. Even now, I'm still a million in TikTok years. They really think I'm an old person on that app. And so I just started posting videos because my boyfriend encouraged me to, and he was like, I just think it'd be a nice creative thing for you. Because when you're in your early 20s, you just bitch and moan about everything.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, everything's annoying, everything's irritating. So that's how I kind of got started.
I'm 39. I still feel that way.
Yeah, I just kind of started making videos that way. And then as far as how it streamlined to just men or awful men who exist on the internet, I don't really know why that happened. I think I was telling silly stories that had to do with dating men and my own ideology on them, and then I did one video that really took off, and that's when it kind of narrowed my niche.
Which was what? Tell me about that one video that took off for you.
The first video I ever had that actually did numbers was talking about my boyfriend, and that he, for Valentine's Day that year, got me a gift of he found me a private nail tech and paid for 6 months in advance and included tip and sent her pictures of stuff that I like and surprised me with that gift. And so that was the first video I had made that did kind of well. And so a lot of women were like, oh, wow, my boyfriend, I wish my boyfriend did a gift like that kind of stuff. And then right after that, I did a video probably a week or two later where someone said, what are some very specific red flags in men that you have? And so I had a whole list of 10, and then I listed them all out, and that was my very first video to go viral.
Tell me the red flags.
Oh, there was a ton. I had if you wear a backwards hat in the pool, you have loyalty tattooed on the arm, don't wear sunblock, love Wolf of Wall Street, a whole lot. It's very Kanye West is your favorite rapper. There's something about that is off,
Wait,
it
backwards
disturbs
hat
my
in the
spirit.
Pool?
Yeah, if you know, you know.
I get it. I
Yeah.
would have never thought of that.
That's the
more of
same
an
guy.
ick,
That's
but
the same guy he's a little too rough with piñatas. You know what I mean? It's why are you in the line? You're not a child. He's that guy. That guy doesn't respect women.
that is so
That guy doesn't respect women. So.
funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of women were super into it, obviously, and a lot of people just in general who date men. And then at the same time, I had a lot of men who were mad as hell at me about that video. And so
because they're the ones wearing backwards hats and hitting piñatas.
Yeah, I'm okay,
You're
one time's
struck
a
a nerve.
coincidence, two times it's a pattern.
Yeah.
What do you call it when you all do it? Science. So Sorry. I'm like, you're just naturally all awful. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So are you still with the same guy?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool. So like if you guys were to ever break up, would you be blamed just because you're the woman?
Yeah, absolutely, I'm sure.
Okay.
The internet would absolutely be like, oh, it's probably because she's awful, which is so funny because I was already dating my boyfriend for, I think, 3 or 4 years at the point when I grew a platform.
Yeah.
So we've been together for a long time.
Yeah.
Now it's going on 7 years. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you think you are seeing any sort of a shift or change in that, or is it still terrible?
I think it's still terrible. I think they just get more creative on how they do it. So they kind of change the verbiage of what it is they say, but the underlying message is still the same. Or they just block me prematurely so I can't see it. So they're getting a little bit smarter, but that's not saying much. It's more so they're getting more afraid of me, so they're trying to hide.
Yeah. Oh,
like roaches.
Yeah.
You know?
Roaches.
Like just shine a light, they scatter.
Yeah.
You know? That's what they do.
God, I feel this so hard. I'm like, so many things you've already said. I'm like holding myself back from bowing down to you. You speak about men with fat phobic viewpoints. Now, what are some things that you say regarding this?
As far as like in regards to their fat phobia?
Yes.
A lot of times I just tell the people they attack, which is most often women.
Yeah.
And they like when men don't agree with what you say or they don't like something that you said, the first thing they do is call you fat and ugly. That's the first thing. It doesn't matter what size you are, it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter like if you're black, white, Asian, like none of that matters. Like whether you have hair, short hair, long hair, like big ears, no ears, like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You could be the most beautiful bitch on the planet and like if you say something that a misogynistic man doesn't agree with, he's going to call you ugly and he's going to call you fat.
Yeah.
So what I've told people before is that the word fat is not a bad thing. It's not a bad word at all. It's a descriptor. Sociologically, we've given that word a lot of power and a lot of negativity, and it's very denigrating because of what we've taught each other. So if you take the power from it and you understand that being fat is not a bad thing, first of all. And second of all, it's not an indicator of whether or not you deserve love or respect or to be treated as an equal, then it can't hurt you anymore. So men will say that no matter what. Like, men have been saying that about me for years, obviously. But even in like the second year of me doing this, I'm good friends with Emily Ratajkowski, who's arguably one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
Yes.
She's not fat by any means.
Yeah.
Like,
and
not
people
even a little.
Still...
Well, I went on her podcast and we made content together. And when I posted it, I had men going like, well, she's fat and ugly. Emrata, have you lost your mind? Like, that's why I was like, oh, word? Okay, cool. So it is just whoever you just don't like. Like,
yes.
And the only reason they said that to her was because she was hanging out with me. So that's my point is like, it means nothing. But men like that who see women as lesser than, they believe women are vapid in their very nature. So they truly believe that the meanest thing they could ever say to you is call you fat and ugly because they think women hold all of their worth and validation in what they look like. Yeah. But specifically how they're perceived by men. So if I don't give a fuck what men think about my looks, then it can't hurt me when they call me ugly because if a man calls me ugly, I'm like, okay, so are you.
Yeah.
You don't want to fuck me, I don't want to fuck you either.
Right.
Okay, maybe we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
We should be friends. Let's hang out more.
I always think that way, even with trolls, when they're like, oh my God, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I wouldn't want to be friends with you either.
Yeah. Well, they're like, I would never date you. Okay, same.
Right back at you.
Yeah, not even on your best day would I ever date you. So I think we're aligned.
Yeah, aligned.
Our goals are aligned.
Aligned, and I don't even need to say it. So, like, what
I don't need to tell you that. You'll never be in a room where I'm at, so you don't need to worry about that. I'm spoken for, so don't worry about dating me.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
I'm chilling, bro.
So how did you meet your boyfriend?
High school, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we've just known each other since high school, but we didn't start dating until after college.
And is he just obviously aligned with everything you believe in too, and just an angel?
Yeah, sometimes my boyfriend tells me, I think you could be meaner. I think you could have gone harder. And I was like, damn, okay. Yeah, like the thing about that is my boyfriend is a very attractive and what people would perceive to be a masculine man. But my boyfriend has the exact same morals and beliefs that I do. Obviously, we're a couple. So it's ironic because men are like, oh, well, she's probably single. Wrong. Okay, well, her boyfriend's probably ugly. Wrong. Oh, he's probably short and bald. Wrong. He's probably so like broke and not wrong. You're so wrong. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm a catch. That's why I have a catch. So, sorry.
How do you get that confidence?
Like, just in general?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I think we all want to look at ourselves as a catch. Like, deep down, I know I am, but I sometimes lie to myself and try and find things that are wrong with me. But
I think that's natural, though.
Yeah.
I think that's just a human that's a natural human feeling, but more specifically for women. I think women are constantly conditioned to believe that they can always be better and always improve, and men are not conditioned that way.
Yeah.
Women are always like, I need to be better, I need to be smarter, I need to be thinner, I need to be prettier, and more specifically, I need to make him feel like a man, but not too much. Like, and I need to make sure that I'm independent, but not too much, and I need to make my own money, but not too much. Like, that's how women are constantly course correcting. Men don't move that way.
Yeah.
So if we're being honest, I just started thinking like how men do, and look how it's worked out. Really great.
Like, did you just start studying men and how they behave and how they act? Like, how are you like, I got to think like a man?
No, I'm being silly. I honestly, I think more than anything, I just started learning to love myself outside the confines of a man.
Yeah.
So like, regardless of what they think, I'm going to do what I like and pursue what I want and live the life that I've always believed I deserve. And so that kind of confidence, I think, I've had a like borderline delusional confidence from a very young age. But I also think at the same time that it was like a perfect storm of how I was raised, like culturally speaking, how I was raised too. And both my parents are in my lives. My parents are high school sweethearts and been together forever. And I think all of that combined with like the confidence I already had just kind of led me to a place where I have very high standards for myself and for my partner. So, you know, I don't lower them, not even a little bit. I never entertained lowering them. Did I date scrubs? Of course I did. That's a rite of passage, unfortunately. Yeah. But like, that's the difference is like, I cut that shit off as soon as I got something I didn't like, or I felt like it was less than what I deserved. And like, that's how men move all the time. So, you know, I didn't start thinking like a man. I started thinking about myself outside of a man. Like, who am I outside of what a man thinks of me?
I love that.
And so like that just, if anything, doing this just grew my conviction. I was like, oh, so I was right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's peace in that. There's peace in that.
Well, and confidence like leads people to like be the most beautiful person in the world. Like, it's purely confidence. It really doesn't matter. Beauty is so subjective and it's impermanent. Like beauty fades with time. And it's also so subjective. Like, what people find beautiful or attractive is so specific to the person. And so I don't worry about that, because what I draw validation from has nothing to do with what I look like.
Wow.
Let alone what a man thinks of me. Shit.
Yeah.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
Do you think it's conditioning for these men, like generationally, or do you think...
To be awful?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the patriarchy. Like, it's misogyny is embedded within the patriarchy. It's taught to us at a very young age. We're all misogynistic when we're born. Yeah. And I've told people, like, it's not our fault if we're born into that sociologically. It is our fault if we die that way, though, because it's our job to unpack it and unlearn it and let it go. So
Sydney
some men
was
haven't.
Singing a Taylor Swift song, and she yelled, "Patriarchy."
Okay, period.
And I was like, "Do you know what that means?" And she was like, "What did you say?"
I thought it was a football team.
Yeah. She goes, "Is that a football team?"
In essence, it is.
Yeah.
It's a big team of men who are awful.
So I told her the definition and the description, and she looked at me and she went, "Well, then, yeah, the patriarchy."
And that's on period.
Like, yeah.
And that's on period.
Yes.
Yeah, start them young. You have to.
It's really fascinating to see her generation, because I feel like they are starting to learn from, you know, women who have platforms that speak on this, such as yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men are probably afraid of that, but I do believe this next generation, like, we have a little bit of hope for them. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the gift, one of the gifts of the internet is access to information, and having access to information can be good and bad, but also having young women especially see other women existing outside, you know, male judgment, existing outside of gender binaries or sexualities, like existing fully and authentically as themselves and being independent is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Like, there are so many women who are older than me who tell me all the time, like, I wish I had someone like you when I was in high school. I wish I had someone like you when I was in middle school. It would have saved me a lot of time. So I think, there's a ton of hope for younger people in general, just to not put up with that bullshit anymore, because they shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I love looking at your achievements. Named one of Forbes' top creators of 2023. Named one of Time Magazine's Next Generation Leaders. Yes, incredible. Official red carpet correspondent for the 2023 Academy Awards.
Yes.
Host of the podcast, The Comment Section, and Two Idiot Girls.
Yes.
Tell me about your podcasts.
Oh, yeah. So The Comment Section is my Spotify exclusive show, which is really great. Spotify partnered with me after like like a year of me doing it, not even. I think I was like 8 months in, and they partnered with me, which is incredible and amazing. I love Spotify. They're such a wonderful partner. And then my other podcast I do with my sister, I actually did before the comment section, called Two Idiot Girls, and it's a completely different vibe, but it's kind of just sister shit, silly shit. It's like the funniest thing ever, as is the comment section. It's more guest driven, the comment section, but both amazing and incredible and very fun and exciting.
Okay, as someone who is always on the go, finding the perfect pieces for my travels used to be a challenge until I discovered QUINCE. They literally have everything, you guys. Everything I need for my next adventure, from premium linen dresses to amazing bathing suits for every shape, all prices that will not break the bank. And what I love the most is QUINCE partners directly with top factories, so I get top-notch quality without the luxury price tag. And their commitment to ethical manufacturing and premium fabrics means, you know what? I get to travel with style and a clear conscience. We love that. I recently packed this maxi dress for my Costa Rica trip. It's become my new favorite travel staple. I just keep pretending that it's all I have packed. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wearing this again. It's all I have. It's not only flowy and breathable, but I've also gotten so many compliments wearing it. These pieces stand up to any luxury brand out there. Believe me when I say that. So whether you have a trip coming up or you are headed to your neighborhood pool, if you're ready to upgrade your travel wardrobe, go to quince.com/vine for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/vine. Get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/vine. Okay, let's talk loungewear, because comfort shouldn't have to stay at home. Enter SKIMS Soft Lounge, the answer to all my lounging prayers. I used to struggle with loungewear that it just didn't cut it. It's too scratchy and boxy and too tight, I don't know. When I discovered SKIMS Soft Lounge, their fabrics are unbelievably soft, making me feel confident and comfortable whether I'm lounging at home or running errands. And my favorite piece right now is the Soft Lounge Scoop onesie. Perfect for these hot Nashville nights, summers. Honestly, I've ditched all my other onesies for this one. So you pair it with sandals, ready for a quick coffee run or a walk with the dogs, walk on the beach. And don't get me started on the Soft Lounge sleep set, okay? After a long day, nothing better than winding down in these pajamas with a glass of red wine. Just a nice little nightly ritual. Do you ever just lay out your PJs on the bed? I get so excited to lay out this onesie on the bed and just like, oh, love nighttime. Shop the SKIMS Soft Lounge collection at skims.com, now available in sizes XXS to 4X. And if you haven't yet, please be sure to let them know I sent you. After you place your order, select Off the Vine in the survey and select my show in the drop-down menu that follows.
You have a large audience. What kind of feedback do you get from them? Because I even notice on my own when I speak up about anything, misogyny, anything in that world, women come back at me.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
But I feel like people would follow you because of you're standing up for it. So I'm assuming it's different audiences. So what kind of response do you get from your audience?
It's overwhelmingly positive. I mean, it's like probably like 90-10 positive, probably even higher than that. But the majority of the negativity I get is from men, obviously. Like, they hate me. Yeah. Oh, man, they hate me. Yeah. Oh, well, thin line between love and hate. I mean, hate and passion. Right. They walk that razor thin line. I'm like, at some point, you got to admit you kind of like me. Because you're following me a lot. You're following everything I say.
They're like secretly taking in the information to be better, but like don't want to ever let anyone know that they're learning from a woman.
Some of them for sure. Sometimes I think it's just like they can't tell if they love me or if they hate me. Like they just can't tell because it's eliciting a very strong emotion from them, which is unpacking in therapy. But as far as women, it's overwhelmingly positive. I mean, for the most part, I do occasionally get hate from women, but it's very rare. And when I do, I can tell that they are struggling with a lot of internalized misogyny, and that's why. Yeah. And I hold a lot of empathy for them, but at the same time, they're not my target audience then. Like if you want to do PR for the worst men in the world, by all means, take that job. I'm not doing it. Right. So good luck with that, by the way. Right. See how they treat you.
It's so hard because I really want to, when I see it happening to me online, like, of course, you go through a public breakup and it must be me, not both of us, and we just aren't compatible. It's me. I'm the problem. Yeah. I did not even mean to quote Taylor Swift there. But, like, it always is, and it's like, how dare I let this go? And it's never like, congratulations, you did something for yourself. Like, obviously, that was the right move. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, and parasocially, I think people think they know. Like, they think they know everything about you because they follow you, or they followed you for a long time, or they followed both of you for a long time. And then when the rumor mill starts churning, it's just like they create the most obscene narratives, and a lot of times you're kind of like, I don't know where you got that from, but that's not true.
I honestly,
don't know where you
sometimes
got
I
that.
read them and I go, oh, I'm worried about you. Like,
yeah. Or you're like, I'm far more interesting than I think I thought I was.
yeah, and I think I'm pretty interesting.
Yeah, you're giving me a lot of credit for something that I definitely have no control over.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I was in my brain before I did my research. I was like, I hope she writes a book. Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
It's called Loud.
Yes.
Accept Nothing Less Than the Life You Deserve. So can you give us a sneak peek into what readers will take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I was just telling you,
Yeah.
but I think it's like part memoir, part self-help. Like, it's like a whole mix of like anecdotal evidence from my own life. It's a lot of like my ideologies and like what I think and believe and why. And I think the book was just a perfect opportunity for me to be able to expand a lot more. It's just like a combo of all of that, I think. And it's something where I got to kind of go into much greater detail about why I feel the way I do about things. And I mean, the first thing, when people come across me online and then they really like my content, and then if they meet me in person and we talk, a lot of times they just like are so curious how I turned out this way. Like, how did you do that? Like, is it family? Is it experience? Is it this? Is it that? So the book was a perfect opportunity for me to show people why I am the way I am, and hopefully help them as well. Kind of decenter men. That's the whole goal at the end of the day. So.
Could you explain to us, without giving the whole book away, why you are the way you are?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect storm, like I said earlier, about family upbringing, culture, and then just, I guess life experience. I do think sometimes it's a little bit of a cheap assumption when people ask me, like, oh, did someone just absolutely f*** you over, and that's why you were like, I actually hate men. Yeah. No. Have you ever hung out with a man just, like, casually? Kind of easy to hate them. Like, you ever spent time with one, like an awful one especially? You're like, man.
An awful one especially. I've hung out with some pretty incredible men, and I've hung out with some
me too. I
pretty
have a man. I have
terrible
a
men.
I have a brother. I have a dad. Like,
Yeah.
when they say that shit, I hate that. Not all men.
Right.
For me, like, that life experience I had very young, because I am a woman who dates men. All of us have that. Like, as soon as we start interacting with them, as soon as you go through puberty, as soon as you start dating, you start having bad experiences with them. And so I think all of that just combined with what I knew I deserved. And I have a very independent mom. Like, my sister's here. She's older than me, and she's a lesbian. And so, like, I was surrounded by strong female women. I was surrounded by men who were very supportive of women and open and loving and empathetic. So it was just all of that combined, I think, is why I turned out this way. And it worked out.
Yeah.
I got a kick-ass partner, and I get to make fun of them for a living. Win-win. Win me.
You built a career off facts.
Yeah, and off hurting their feelings, sorry to say.
And standing up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel
Absolutely.
like you have a really strong voice, and obviously a strong platform to use your voice, and that must feel really empowering.
Yeah, it's really great. And like, the amount of testimonies I get all the time on all my platforms about how my content has changed their life, like the major shifts and movements they've made in their own lives. And believe it or not, I do have quite a few fans that are men.
Yeah.
Who really enjoy my content. And a lot of the women that follow me are married and have kids.
Yeah.
Like, and they understand what I'm talking about. And I think past just like sillies and comedy, because obviously I'm a comedian, so like I make a lot of jokes and I like to entertain, and that's a big part of my platform too. But past that, past validating their life experience, I validate their anger and their frustration. And it's okay. Like, if you want to be mad at them and be mean as back, then you should be allowed to be. Yeah. They don't care. Do awful men ever give a shit about your feelings when you guys are fighting?
Awful men, no.
Of course they don't. But somehow we have to prioritize theirs. That makes no sense to me. If you're going to be mean to me, I'm going to be mean back to you, and now what? Yeah. But they feel entitled to that. Like, men like that, they'll say the most awful, like, vitriolic shit to me, and then I'll make one joke about a bad hairline, and then they're like, how could you do this to me? That's so f***ed up that you would do this to me. Yep. The old body shaming. Oh, all of a sudden we care about body shaming. Yeah. All of a sudden.
I've been in a relationship where, like, so many times they would say something to me, and then later in the conversation I'd be like, but you just said that. And you'd be like, no, I didn't. Yeah,
gaslight. Nice.
I was like, wait, 30 seconds ago, you literally... No, I didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, men say things with no regard. Like, a lot of times, like, when women disagree with someone, or a lot of times when they're having these internal conversations with themselves, they're thinking about so many things. They're thinking about, women are constantly thinking, if I said this, how would this affect this person and the people in this room? Men don't think like that. they say whatever the they want. As soon as it comes to their brain, they say it.
Yeah.
And women don't have that luxury, because when they do that, then they're rude, or they're bitchy, or they're mean, or they're, you know what I mean? There's so many different negative like descriptions attached to women who speak up for themselves and speak their minds. When men do it, it's very like, oh, well, he just knows what he wants.
Powerful.
Yeah, he's just a boss.
Yeah.
It's like that Nicki Minaj quote when she was like, when I say it, I'm a bitch. When he says it, he's a boss. Like, it's the same shit. It's like we're doing the exact same thing, but men like that feel super entitled to women's patience and kindness and graciousness. That's why whenever women cheat in relationships, everyone's like, what a whore.
Yeah.
Like, they say awful shit. When men cheat and then women, like, they're like, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
What were you doing the whole time? Like, it's always on her. Like, the focus is always on her. It's never on him.
Yep.
And so it's telling. It bleeds into every aspect of life.
Off the Vine is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. So whether you love true crime or comedies, maybe celebrity interviews, news, even motivational speakers, you always get to call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance. Then they're going to show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you the options. Something you're going to want to press play on. It's easy to start a quote and you'll be able to choose the best option for you and fast. It's literally just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. So quote today at progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, close your eyes and picture this. Not if you're driving, but picture this. Rooftop infinity pool, crafted cocktails, cool cuisine, chill vibes. Sound like vacation goals? I think so. Hyatt Vivid Grand Island in Cancun is waiting. Experience Mexico's all-new, all-inclusive, adults-only resort and live your best life. Try a hands-on macrame making class, make friends at our boho chic beach club, or take in the views from the longest rooftop pool in Cancun. Visit HyattVividResorts.com for awesome grand opening rates. That's HyattVividResorts.com.
You really incorporate your humor into like your beliefs too, which is cool.
Thank you.
And you are embarking on a 21-day
Tour.
comedy tour.
Yes.
Can people like find on a website where you are going?
Yeah.
I would love to watch you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's at Drew-Afualo.com. It's the Loud Book Tour. So I'm promoting my book, but my sister and I are doing our podcast live. So it's a comedy show.
Cool.
And then we're doing 21 dates, 21 cities. It's going to be very fun. Starts July 30th. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so fun. I love I've done podcast tours before. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun to like interact with people that like follow you and have always
Totally.
been like your supportive community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
we did like a baby tour last year just to kind of get our feet wet.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. So now we're doing 21 dates.
That's cool. Are you going to like get a bus?
Yeah, we have a bus. Yeah. We have a whole squad going. We're going to get real close on tour.
Oh yes, I lived on a bus for 3 months, once for the Dancing with the Stars tour.
Damn.
And I honestly thought it would be hell, and I loved every second of it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean
That makes me feel good.
I didn't like the sleep wasn't great, and it like got, but you really do bond and
Yeah, like have fun.
yeah,
Have a blast. I love that.
And you can still have your own little cubbies and
Totally.
space, and like
yeah.
it's
when
not
we're
like
like, I
you're-
need 5 from you.
Yeah, and you get to the
I'll be
city, you
back.
get to explore the city, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
Totally.
What do people expect from your live shows?
Lots of giggles.
Yeah.
Lots of sillies. Sure, I'll be mean to men. Sure. I'll do that on the road. Absolutely. Do it all the time. So whatever, just a good vibe, I would say, more than anything. And my book. Lots of talking about my book.
Is your book out right now?
It comes out July 30th.
July 30th.
Yes.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
And like obviously where anyone can find books, they can find yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can go on my website too. It also has the
Yeah.
book on there. And then Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target. Really depends on where you live. But yeah, for the most part, those are my big ones.
Really quick side note, how do you function with those nails?
Oh, real easy. Lots of practice.
Lots of practice?
Lots of practice. Yeah, girl. You just got to get your reps in.
Oh my gosh, because I have the shortest nails and I
Yeah.
still somehow smash them into walls and like destroy my nail underneath.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can hardly wipe
That's
my
because
butt.
it's probably because they're so close to your real nail. Like when they're an extension like this, you know they're there.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
I think you forget. So you just get a little
Because I love that.
crazy.
I'm like, I keep
Thank
staring at
you.
your nails. They're so cool. And I
Thank
love
you.
all your like tattoos and
Thank
jewelry and
you.
everything. And I'm like, I could never. I was just like how do you
We
pick,
ain't all
how do you
built
pick
for
your
it.
nose?
Pretty easily. That's easy.
Oh, that's like a scoop.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
That's,
That's probably the easiest thing to do.
I think about the weirdest things. Sorry, my brain got completely sidetracked.
You're fine.
I want to. Do you come to Nashville for your live show?
Yes, we do. Me forgetting.
When?
Yes.
Well,
sometime in August.
Yeah.
Mid-August,
Oh my
I
gosh.
want to say.
Zanies? Are you doing Zanies?
I think August 6th.
August 6th. I get back August 5th.
Look at us. That sounds like it was written in the stars for us.
I am totally going.
Yeah, you have to.
Gosh. I love this. You've been called the internet's crusader for women.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Real Jonah Arc vibe, period.
How do you see your role in the fight for women's rights, and like what motivates you to keep going?
Oh, I mean, I think my role is a small but integral cog as far as in the social media world. I think a lot of times because I weave so much humor into my content, but it's a much deeper and more important message. I think it's really like a pill and cheese for a dog. Like, if this is what makes you start paying attention to misogyny and patriarchy, that's great. I'd love to be an entryway.
Yeah.
I'm by no means the first. I tell people all the time, I'm not the first bitch to be mean to men. I'm not the first woman to dislike the majority of them. I'm not the first person to do any of that. But I think what I've been able to do online is build a community of people that is 100% decentering men, or at least trying to, in a lot of different ways. And I feel like my platform specifically is the one table men don't have a seat at. And so by not having a seat, you don't have a say in what I say and what I do and how we operate here. And I run a real dictatorship on my community. So like my community is for us and us alone. Like awful men are not welcome here, whether to talk or defend themselves or justify their actions. And so if you don't have a seat at my table, don't worry about what's being served. That's what I always tell people. So I think I've just been able to build a community of people who find a lot of courage and strength from my content, which I think is a wonderful and privilege and blessing in a lot of ways. And so I'm just happy that I've been a lot of people's introduction to intersectional feminism. I've been a lot of people's like just conviction, or just validation in a lot of ways. I exist, I think, on different spaces in people's timelines, because some people are on all different journeys in their journey through like feminism and finding who they are outside of a man and everything. So everyone's on a different path. I think me just getting to be a part of it is such a privilege and a treat.
I mean, we all need to be educated so much on those topics.
Absolutely.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
But like, how do you deal with people just being like, oh, you're just a man hater and blah, blah. Like,
when people say that, I go, you're right. Yeah. You ever met one?
Yeah.
You'd hate them too. Like, you're right. I do. I hate a lot of men. I wouldn't say I hate all of them. I haven't met all of them.
Yeah.
But I hate a majority of them. And so if that is the case, if that is their perspective, like, most likely, however they identify, they have a lot of internalized misogyny, or they believe in misogynistic ideals.
Yeah.
That's their journey, not mine. That's between them and God. Girl, unpack it.
Yeah.
Like, do what you got to do. I already unpacked mine, so I put mine down a while ago.
Yeah.
So if they see me that way, like, chances are they don't like me. So there's really nothing I can do. Like, you can't convince misogynistic men to see you as an equal.
And
you can't. Like, you literally can't. They don't listen. So
I'm getting the vibe that you really don't give a shit if people don't like you.
No, I really don't.
That's awesome.
Especially men. And I don't know what could be any more clear. Like the way that they're like, well, you're just making men not like you. Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, I've been trying that for a while. My demographic is literally like 97.3 women and others.
Yeah.
And that is an unreal demographic. Like, there are so many women that ask me personally and privately, how do I get my demographic to look like that? I don't want men watching me anymore. How do I do that? And
That's mine. Mine's 97%, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I'm literally like, it's really quite simple. Just attack them. Just antagonize them. Nothing makes them hate you faster than that.
Yeah.
So, that was my journey.
In 10 years, do you think there's going to be, like, you can look back and be like, my work matters, I've made some change, like, you'll be able to see it?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope, hopefully. Yeah. I tell people all the time, like, I hope that I don't have to do this forever. Like, I hope. Yeah. My ultimate goal and dream would be that this is no longer necessary, because women are allowed to exist freely and openly and be who they are without criticism and violence and judgment from men. Like, I would hope at one point we can achieve that.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. But a lot of times I tell people, like, my goal is not to change awful men. My goal is to help everyone else decenter them entirely, because they are frivolous and unessential in that way. Like, in a lot of ways, like, awful men, we don't need them. Like, we need each other. Like, and one thing women are unbelievable at is building community and fostering relationships and like cherishing them and uplifting them. Like women are so good at that. And we don't need them for that shit. We need to focus on us and love ourselves. And then if we live in an awesome life without a man by our side, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who cares? Like you who cares?
Yeah.
As long as you're happy and you're fulfilled and you feel good, like that's all that matters.
That is all that matters.
Yeah.
God, I wish I could think of that more often. How I feel is all that matters.
You can read my book. It'll help.
God, I'm going to. I can't freaking wait. To be honest with you, I'm like going to have it on like my Kindle and in my ears.
Period.
Yeah.
I did do the Audible, so.
You did?
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's my voice for sure.
Well, I feel like you need to.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
like,
what a lot of people are.
yeah.
They're like, it has to be narrated by you.
It has
Obviously.
to be.
Imagine I picked a man. That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. Got
Your
him.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
How do you think your heritage has influenced your perspective and approach to your work?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Samoan, so I'm Polynesian, and Samoan culture prior to being colonized is matriarchal at its genesis. It's we've always held women in very high regard, like most indigenous cultures have. So we didn't have a gender binary. We had multiple genders prior to being colonized, and so my family is no exception to that rule. Like my mom has always been on equal footing with my dad my entire life. My mom made more money than my dad almost my entire life. So my dad has never cared. In fact, my dad's dream forever was to be a stay-at-home dad because my dad loves being a dad more than anything.
Yeah.
And so my mom does too, but my mom loves to work and my mom's super independent and my mom's super like confident. And so my parents have always moved in that dichotomy. And so I feel like that them working in tandem like that was something I always saw. And so I think that plays a huge role, like combined with like the familial aspect of my culture too. Like we're very family-based, family-centered. And I have passed my dad. I have lots of men in my life who have been wonderful and amazing and examples of what it means to be a man. And I feel like
That's awesome.
that idea and that the idea and that vision of them that I've seen constantly growing up is not what I saw when I went into the real world and started dating. It's not what I saw when I went online. So I'm not putting up with it. Like I was like, I know what men are capable of, and this is not it.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, like, I know what you're capable of. Why are you not doing it?
Yeah. I know what you can do and what you choose to do are two different things.
Right. If you could roast any historical figure, who would you roast and why?
Damn, that's a great question. Damn. I don't know. There's a lot of men I hate. That's just me being honest. I hate Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
I would celebrity boxing match Ronald Reagan if I could. Topless. You and me. Meet me in the cage, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is at the center of most horrible things in this country, and you can Google that. Wait, I just thought of two more. Christopher Columbus. I'd beat the out of him, too. He's probably like 5'5", too. That would be easy. I'll
join you on that one.
I would double team both of them. Just like both of them get in the cage with me. And then Captain Cook.
Who's Captain Cook?
Captain Cook, he colonized Hawaii.
Oh.
And he led to the colonization of a lot of Polynesian islands, including my own. So Captain Cook, I'd fight him on the beach or something.
And then my last question is, who do you look up to as a woman?
Ooh, so many people. My sister's one of them. Like my older sister, my mom. I'm like, I guess Alex, since she's here. And Allie, obviously. I was getting there. You didn't let me finish. There are so many women. I have so many women in my life.
Like, do you have a favorite person that you follow on social media that does kind of the same thing that you do, or?
I don't know. I don't know if I follow anyone that does the exact same thing. I follow so many different people in general that do a lot.
Favorite account to follow on Instagram?
Ooh, on Instagram. Okay.
Or
my friend Alok is one of my favorite accounts to follow. Alok is non-binary, but they have taught me so much just about, like, I think the beauty of getting older, one of the beauties of getting older is like getting to learn more and understand more and learn how to be a better person and a better like partner and a better just human existing in the world. Like, and so Alok has taught me so much, and I feel like I know a lot. There's a lot that I do know, but there's also a lot I don't. Yeah. And Alok has been an activist for fucking years, much longer than me, and also is a brilliant stand-up comedian. So I think Alok is like my favorite to follow on Instagram. All my friends, sorry. All my friends,
I also think I said that was the last question. I have one more. Majority of my listeners are women, maybe a couple men, but for my listeners, like, how can they recognize when they have the internal misogyny happening and what they can do about it?
Ooh, yeah. I mean,
Because sometimes they don't know they're doing it.
Totally.
That's why it's internalized and they don't realize it.
No, totally. And I've struggled with that too. I think something that really helps is talking about it out loud, right? So however you're feeling, like when you have negative feelings towards a woman, I think talking about it and unpacking it out loud really helps to narrow down what exactly it is that you're upset about. Because if you really think about it, when you talk, like let's say there's a woman, you're like, she's kind of a bitch. And then you really get down to it, it's like, she is something or does something that I envy, and I wish that I could emulate that too, and it makes me feel some type of way about myself, therefore I'm writing her off as a bitch.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times too, if you think about the things you say about other women that maybe, and I'm not talking about valid conflict, I'm not talking about women who are actually awful people, because that does happen too. All right. I'm talking about women that haven't done anything to you. A lot of times that's when your internalized misogyny kicks in. I think just saying it out loud, if you literally out loud to, even if you're alone, just saying it out loud, you're like, is this a valid criticism or am I just being a hater? Right. Like, I think if people were more honest with themselves about that feeling and saying it out loud, because I've had that too. Like, I say it out loud and I was like, damn, that does sound misogynistic. Like, would a man say that? Right. A lot of times you're like, if an awful man was here, would he agree with what I said? Yeah. That helps me backpedal a lot. Yeah. It's kind of like if you post I've seen this on TikTok. They're like, if you post a video and only men are agreeing with you, delete it. Wrong side of history, delete. Right? Like, hate that, delete. I think if you did that in real life, that could help a lot. And I think when you, on a personal growth level, if you just unpack where you get your validation from, that always helps. So it's like, what makes me feel good? Does it make me feel good when men tell me that I'm smart and funny and pretty? Or do I just know I'm smart and funny and pretty, and I walk in that faith and I walk in that belief? I know I'm smart, I know I'm funny, I know I'm pretty. Or do I only feel that way when men tell me I am? And I think when you do the personal shit, it makes it a lot easier to not lash out at women. Wow. When you unpack a lot of shit you got going on, it makes it way easier.
It helps, like, us on the other side too. Like, if I'm getting bullied, if my niece is getting bullied, if anyone's like being hateful towards you, to even think like, if they could just unpack their own
absolutely
shit.
I talked about that in the book too. Cool. I talk about it because I have come across women who were very misogynistic towards me and denigrating towards me, which is upsetting. And I think now that I'm older and I've unpacked a lot of it, I have a lot of empathy for them because there is a reason why you are that way. Like, you've been conditioned to be that way because when you're a pick-me and you're like existing among other women, one of the many tools of misogyny is to convince women there can only ever be one. Yeah. And then if you think about the cool girl monologue from the movie Gone Girl, the woman she's describing, like, there's a line in that monologue where she says, like, the greatest fallacy is that this woman doesn't exist. The woman that men tell every woman they should strive to be, like, she doesn't exist. Like, it's literally not real. So they have us chasing ghosts. Like, we're chasing mirages in the desert. Yeah. And we're just going to die eventually out there alone. So instead of turning away from women when men do that, you turn towards them. That's what I did. Like, I leaned towards them. I turned towards them. I focused more on them because they're trying to convince you to tear everyone down, and look how far ahead they get of us when they distract us like that. So I was like, we're turning on each other, and that's what they want. They want us to turn on each other, team. Sync up. We got to all get on the same page. God. We're all on the same side.
I have so many thoughts running through my brain right now, like past relationships where I'm like, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Of course,
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You talk and I go. It's so many times I wanted to bow and snap and clap, and that's great. It's really cool, and congratulations on your book and everything that you have coming up. So tell everybody one more time where they can find you on your website for tickets and stuff.
Oh yeah, sure. So you could go to drew-afualo.com for anything related to book, tour, whatever it may be, and then on all socials you can find me at Drew Afualo on literally everything. And then I have 2 podcasts, the comment section on Spotify or anywhere really, and then 2 Idiot Girls as well.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you for having me.
I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe. I'll see you next Tuesday. See you next